Welcome back to Factorio Centurion. I am Gulsado, and this is episode 8 with sound re-recorded after finding out that I had not recorded sound the first time and was just talking to a blank room and possibly my cat. So now we have steel being processed and added to the bus, almost. And I'm making some red circuit wire so we can see me start to figure out and get confused by circuitry. Now, what I'm doing here is creating a priority splitter, which will force all of the items in the bus to the top lane so that we always get full throughput on any of our out feed. Now, I didn't figure this out myself. I learned it from a Steejo video, which I've linked in the description. So, we set this top one to read belt's content and hold. And this bottom one set to enable disable anything rather than everything. So anything greater than 6, because a belt will have, at full throughput, 8 items on it, where 2 of those items are overlapped and shared with the next square of belt. So that means if there's anything greater than 6 items on there, the belt will be enabled. But if not, it's disabled, so we only have, in this case, iron being allowed through into the top belt. Now what I'm doing here is after that, so after it gets pulled off, everything will be pushed back up to the top lane. But what I haven't figured out yet is how to push it up to the top lane in the first place, but I think we get to that by the end of the video. And it's not very complicated, and so this was actually my first time ever using circuits at this point. And I figured it out later. So we're moving iron for whatever reason. I think what had happened is I'd confused myself, so we'll get there in the end. As they say, hindsight is 20/20, which is good because in reality I'm quite blind. Okay, so we're giving ourselves some room for the circuit, for the wiring that is. We're using red wire. You could use green wire if you like, but red was the one I made. So we're just replicating those conditions from before. Anything greater than 6. Come on, Gulsado, you can do it. I wonder if we ever get back to that lamp production. It's not important. So now I'm consulting on my second screen an image I have of this priority splitter layout, which I had done in my other campaign as a practice. See, I'm not even sure what I was confused about at this point. I'm confused about my own confusion. So now at least we have some iron on that top belt while I figure this out. So eventually I'd very much like to blueprint this setup so I don't have to think about it anymore and I can just place it down. And as I understand, in blueprints, you don't actually have to have the wire available. The robots will just place it themselves. I don't know if that's intentional or not. I'm sure someone in the comments can tell me, but it seems nice, and I'll allow it. So here we're seeing the wheels turn in my mind as I shut down my whole factory trying to figure out basic circuit conditions. So I think what was confusing me is that the bottom belt is not there because of that underground belt I've used. So in my mind, I couldn't match up the diagram I had on my second screen to what I was seeing in the game. But we'll come to a realization very soon. I'm sure we'll have that eureka moment. Which may give us a city-state envoy for Valletta. For all the Civ 6 fans out there. I've been enjoying Civ 6 lately, so please let me know in the comments if you'd like to see gameplay videos of that. Okay, so what I'm doing here is placing 4 belts down so I can wrap my head around this properly. So we'll set it up the same as I have it in the image. Place all the belt we need. You'll get there, old boy. Let me see, there's nothing in my buffer chest because we're not producing enough transport belt at the moment to warrant a buffer. Okay, so that's connected again. We're back to square one. Well done. So now we'll set these conditions to how they were. Read belt contents. Disable the enable disable checkbox. Click hold. Enable disable anything greater than 6. So now anything that comes along that top one will get pushed up until that line is full, in which time it will be pushed down or allowed to pass through. Now that happens exactly the same as I've copied and pasted the conditions on all those other splitters there. So those 3 below it push all the iron up to the top belt, but after I've already split it off. So what I need to do is just push all the iron up to the top belt with 3 splitters before that. First of all, we will get the steel on the bus and see if we can figure out what we were doing. and first murder this little copse of trees. Fern Gully taught me nothing. Place this turret back down here for paranoia of biters. We recognize biters as the original occupants of this land. I think what I'm doing now is going for a little adventure to see if I can find any biter nests nearby. That lake there looks kind of like the Paradox Interactive logo. We found some oil and got bored and turned back. So I'm making a few assembly machines here. I think maybe to upgrade some of the assembly machines we have already. Back to tree murder. Lovely. Now I realize I didn't have to delete the videos that I had already uploaded, but I have done that, as I could just add an audio track to them. So we're splitting off here. Non-priority. But that's okay. And I think this is where I'm figuring out the error in my system. So we're trying to get towards blueprints. So the first thing I'll do is research oil processing. Not that we'll have that done for quite a few episodes. Now what I'm doing here is making a sort of priority splitter so that we only send off what we need to steel production. Now I'm not actually reading and figuring out exactly what we need. What I'm doing is just sort of guessing around a quarter of it because we need to prioritize iron throughput at the moment. So we go anything over, if 6 is full, I think we went 4, so it's not a quarter, it's just about 2/3. 1/3. Get sent off there and then we get most of it through. What I really need is more smelting. So we're finding that same problem. Again, we don't have enough transport belts because there's not enough gears. Not enough gears because there's not enough iron throughput. And this is where I finally come to the realization that I need to push all the iron up to the top lane before the priority splitters start. So we'll just do that now. Very simply, 1, 2, and 3 up to the top belt. Now it doesn't matter if they're all attached in this case. And we'll just copy and paste those conditions over. And now we should have full throughput on the gear line as it catches up. And if we don't have full throughput on the gear line, it means we're not producing enough iron plate. But now we should be producing enough transport belt for our purposes. Now I realize I want faster transport belt now, and begin to research logistics 2. So we'll just upgrade these assembly machines, whether we need to or not. And be done with assembling machine 1s once and for all. So our buffer for electronic circuits is working quite nicely. And finally, it looks like we're back to lamp production. So we'll have the iron sticks go straight in to the lamp assemblers. We're figuring out what we need to pull off the bus. I don't know if you can hear those children playing outside my window, but it's very much amplified by my microphone in my ears. One day we'll have steel on the bus. And we finally have medium power poles. And I will never again use wooden electric poles. Not in this campaign anyway. Not because I don't think you should, just because I don't like them myself. So they'll probably all end up burnt in the production of iron, copper, and steel. Maybe the production of stone brick. Who cares? So we'll just have 2 inputs on each of these, and 2 outputs as well. Or 3 on one and 1 on another. I think I figure out the error of my ways here, and that will do. It'll be more than we need, either way. Figure out what we need to pull up for these lamps. which if I remember correctly is copper. I think once again I need to move the labs. By the end of the episode, we'll have these lamps automated. I hope. We'll see. Can I do it? In 20 seconds. Unlikely. So we'll do that at the start of the next episode. Anyway, I'm Glosado. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.